All right, let's do it live on a Friday edition for this exact moment, a sun-kissed Friday edition of the program. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. Love that Sneed logo. That's strong.
So good.
I love that hat, man. That's
so good.
clean.
I like this. I like,
That's
for
really
those who
cool.
attended my or saw online my wrestling, you know that black and blue
Yep.
together is something that I enjoy.
I've
love
got a Grayson quarter zip that is that blue that I've never worn. That I tried it on once. It just didn't fit me right, and I've been meaning to bring it in for you. And it's that blue. It's the I call that electric blue. Yeah.
Don't touch me because I'm electric, and if you touch me, you'll get shocked.
That's right. But that brand, that's also the congressional quarter
that's right.
zips.
Exactly.
From the Official Teaching Pro years ago. That's a good brand. You don't
Very
see
nice.
it as much, but it's a really nice.
Zero restriction.
Yeah, it's nice. I like that a lot. How'd it go yesterday? Did you get it in?
So, look, we've endured what I would call a long, hard, unfun winter.
Oh, God, have we?
And once we've turned the corner, I'm done with it. I'm done with rain.
Yeah.
I'm done with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, for many years, been unable to participate in our Thursday night league.
Yeah.
This year, schedules have changed. I am able to participate in the Thursday night league.
Yep.
Kia and I have been looking forward to this. There were texts flying back and forth yesterday. We were
His
all
excitement
excited.
of this,
We were both very excited.
I know. I just think it's.
We haven't got to team up. It's weird. We've played a few rounds of golf together this year, and we have not been on the same team
You
yet.
were adversaries in the Greenbrier Cup, which didn't work out well for him.
No. In fact, none of our adversarial situations thus far have worked out well for Kia.
So he's hoping to be on the winning team.
Yeah. So what's funny is if you were to go back, and I hope people that I haven't played golf with in the last few years are listening, if you were to go back a few years, I'm a skilled, dexterous person at some things. I became very good that if you gave me 4 golf balls, you could put them really however you wanted in my hand. But if I was the one who got to put them in my hand, absolute lock, I could toss those 4 golf balls in a way that looks like nothing was happening nefarious and get the 2 that I wanted together 100% of the time. Wow. So
little David Blaine in you.
So I was very good at getting the Kia and I together back in the day when we were on our hot streak.
I'm gonna write that down because I want to know how you're doing that.
Me and Simsy, especially like if I got to put them where I wanted, it was 100%. If I didn't get to put them, if somebody was like, "No, I don't believe what's going on here," I was still probably 75%.
Ball toss strategy.
Yeah,
noted.
Yeah, and so the last time we played, Kid tried to do this, but
failed.
Yeah, he threw it, and so that 2 balls were literally like almost touching 10 yards away, and the other 2 were like over here and over here.
Like really flicked those and then dropped.
He got the wrong 2 balls.
Come on, kid.
So it unfortunately cost him, and then we went through the scorecard, and he and I would have been victorious if it were he and I that day. So he was very unhappy about that because it ended up being a little bit of a beating. Back 9 Cook showed up at Cook with a rare 56-42 on that day.
You don't see that very often.
No.
But someone who is capable of a 42 will card a 56 on the same day.
He's a 17, so like.
But the 42 is what the outlier is to me.
They're both outliers. Like I've never seen him shoot 50. It was like.
Yeah, that's 112.
And it could have been.
So that's.
It could have been.
Yeah.
It was a somewhat kind 56.
Yeah, both really on the extremes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, to imagine, I said, dude, you realize you just played this back 9 in every hole you had a shot and a half less than you had on every hole in the front 9.
Right.
Like that's crazy.
That is. Yeah.
It's nuts. It's lunacy. But anyway, I digress. I don't know where I was going. Oh,
you guys got to play though yesterday, right? So this is a long debut.
No. So we get there early. We're there early. We're excited. We're going to go play a few holes. We're out there. It's like ba-boomba, ba-boomba. Pew, pew, pew. Play another hole. Oh, man. We're so dialed. Like it's going to be a beating.
Yeah, we're ready.
And then we get one of those like foul winds.
Yeah.
And we're like, maybe we should drive in just to be safe.
Yeah.
From that moment forward, it was a deluge.
Mm-hmm.
It was a torrential downpour, canceled, we're out. I get home, and I was like, not in a bad mood. You're
never in a bad mood. Yeah, but you're a little salt, maybe a little salt.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was a little salty. And Miss K's like, you don't want to be with me? And I was like, of course I want to be
No,
with you.
honey, of
course
course
I
I
want
wanna
to be
be
with
with
you. And
you.
I'm thrilled to be with you. It's like,
Yes.
that is what a consolation prize.
incredible.
But I was really excited about this.
Yeah.
This was going to be my league debut.
Sure.
I was very,
You're
very
primed,
excited.
You've been playing well.
And so
With the
then we
kid?
got no. And then today I'm supposed to golf after this program ends. 0% shot. The place where I'm going, which is I think a little further south of here, it's 95% chance of rain from 2 to 5:30, and we're talking. It said north of a quarter of an inch.
So it's going to get
Yeah. So that's not happening. And then Saturday
Yeah.
morning, why don't you go ahead and pop that into your Hudson area? That's close enough to Walden for Hudson. Saturday morning at 10:30, we're supposed to play the season-long tournament with me and Simsay
Yep.
as teammates. How's that looking?
Well, I can tell you because my wife, we have Lax Fest this weekend in Hudson, and my
She's
wife
on the
is
board.
on the board, and so
course.
they've been sweating out these. It's going to rain,
Yeah,
but it's
gonna
a
rain.
it's a 0.09 inch accumulation
For the whole day?
situation. No, that's so it doesn't look like it's going to be around hourly now until like 11 o'clock. So like 11 to noon, but then the afternoon it should be okay. Then it looks like it's going to maybe pop up again like 5 o'clock.
Perfect. So it's also prom, outdoor prom pictures
Oh,
for Hawken tomorrow at 6. By the way, can I take 1 second?
You can take all the time you want. We got a 2-hour show.
I come to you today as a proud father.
Yep.
My son, Bryce,
Yep.
was nominated
No boots.
by his peers
Yep.
for the Hawken Integrity Council.
I like that.
There are only, I believe, 3 kids per class, sophomore, junior, senior, that are put onto this council.
It's awesome.
And he was nominated and won the vote by his peers, so I'm very proud.
El Boots.
Very proud. Got the note. He was all fired up. Connor with the K's clapping it up. I was like, you know how it is. Like when your
Yeah.
kids do something cool, you're like, I'm an emotional guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm crying tears of joy and pride.
That isn't surprising to me. You're a
Yep.
man rich with integrity yourself. So Apple, not far from the tree.
That's right. And, you think of Kurt Angle
it.
and the 3 eyes, intensity, integrity, and intelligence. It's a good
Those
way
are
to
big
go.
eyes.
They're very good. Very
Can
good
I-
eyes.
I'm gonna
Let
tell
him
you
do a
something.
gold medal.
You remember, I think I told this story on the show a couple of years ago when my dad and brother drove out for a first communion, brought all my baseball cards and
Oh, yeah.
basketball cards and football cards. And I was pretty excited. Held
What a
on to
treat.
them. Yeah, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version for those who haven't heard this story. But my anticipation was that there would perhaps be a little bit of gold mines in there. Nothing getting rich, but perhaps we'd have some winners and stuff that I'd held on to. For
I think
a
like you
great
should
amount
feel
of
like,
time.
I feel like there's probably 10 grand of gold in them hills.
That's what you were hoping. Little fun along the way. Let's see what we got, kids. And
This just sounds like this is going to be a story of no integrity. Is that what we're getting to?
So, and I told you, like, NBC was just getting into the cards at that time, and he had an app on his phone, and he was checking them, and they were all worth nothing. Like the Griffey Jr., Upper Deck, nothing. Like, none of them are worth anything. They're all worth nothing. Joe Montana, second, none of it. It's all worth nothing. All this stuff that I had, I protected it like you did because our dad said they all had Mickey Mantle. But they didn't, but they acted like they did, and so we all had to keep
You're telling
them.
me like a Tony Gwynn, 83, 84, that's useless?
I didn't
Mattingly,
have
a
that.
Donnie baseball?
I didn't have that one, but I'm
Okay.
telling you everything from basically the mid 80s on.
I have complete sets from 81 on.
Okay, so you might have some in there,
Yeah.
and they're in your possession, right?
They're with my golf bag.
Like to have that back.
Like to have that.
So anyway, I had held on to these because my dad didn't, and NBC's like, he was actually like felt bad for me. This was a couple of years ago, and he's like, "Man, Dad, I'm sorry. Like this ridiculous Matthew Stafford with this artwork on it that I just pulled is worth $1,000, and you don't have anything worth 60. Great. Juan Gonzalez reverse negative, nothing. Billy Ripken, end of the bat, nothing.
Got it.
Yeah, worth nothing. 6 cents.
I got some of the Skybox prototypes where they've got
They're
the,
not worth
I want to
anything.
say on a Ronnie Cycli.
Yeah.
There's a wrong picture on a Ronnie Cycli. It's an error.
Yeah, there's the Menendez brothers and a Mark Jackson card.
Yeah.
That at one
That's
point
a
was
hoops.
worth something. That's
It's
a
a hoops
hoops.
card.
None of them are. So I started to think about like all this stuff we held on to, our generation. So my wife's sister had Beanie Babies, and she had them all. And so somehow we ended up for where all these ended up, because I think Bootsy likes stuffed animals. So we have all these Beanie Babies, like the Princess Di Beanie Baby.
I'm sure they're worth a lot. It's going to be
the
insane.
the lobster, the platypus, like all of this stuff that's
Who
worth.
doesn't like a duck-billed platypus?
Everybody likes a platypus. I wish I'd see more of them.
I've never seen one in the wild.
So this was probably 6 months ago. We had found this. I haven't thought about it in years, and one of the boys found it. Basically, NBC's trying to sell all of our stuff for his own profit is what it amounts to. That's his whole operation, is to steal things and then sell them, and he keeps the money. That's his operation.
I feel
right
like
now.
that lacks integrity.
He's not going to be on any council at Hawken, I'll tell you that.
No, he's not.
So he was trying to sling these Beanie Babies. Well, they're not worth anything. None of them. They're worth 8 cents. Like, people stop collecting them. There's no demand. They're not worth anything. So we've got all these things now. All right, so fast forward. So Amy's dad had a collection of coins that he had from the time he was a little kid. So they were in this briefcase that was sealed with a lock, and he gave them to the boys.
Those have to have
when
value.
they were little, and we were like, okay, cool. Well, NBC found him last night, and he's like, Dad, you know where the key is for this? No, I don't. And he starts rummaging around. I'm like, and I'm not looking for it now. Like, I don't want to do it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, in
Chill.
a minute, we'll do it. Dad, I go down. Because he had no patience, he tried to rip the briefcase open. Okay, he tried to rip it open. This thing was made in the 40s. You're not ripping it open. Okay?
That's like
he fails.
knight's leather.
It's not ripping
That's
it
like
open.
leather armor.
So we get the thing opened.
Yeah.
Buddy, this had, like, and this was the name of him. Amy's dad had, like, Indian cents from 1870. Like silver dollars from the 1880s, 1887, all this stuff, right? It's worth what they're worth, like $1 and a cent, but not much more. Not much more. Like, in fact, probably the most valuable thing is the fact that all of this was made of silver. A lot of the silver dollars were made of silver, and silver is quite a bit for an ounce. I think it's like $33 an ounce of silver. So probably the most value it is in that. But by and large, I was looking through it. I'm like, none of this is worth anything.
How?
I don't know. And so I just came to the conclusion. Here are 3 instances of things that people collected and held on to and thought would be worth a lot of.
So you're saying I should not plan my
No.
Great Scottsdale estate on my father's stamp collection?
You should not. No, they're not worth anything. I don't think they're going to be worth anything. So I just think nostalgia is dead. I think it's dead. I don't think people care about it anymore. That's my big takeaway. 3 separate things, all of which at various times in my life people thought were collectible. Nothing.
Yeah, my dad's got a crazy stamp collection going way back.
Dude, this way, it was 25 pounds of coins. I mean, it was heavy. It's a lot of coins. But I was looking at them, and it doesn't appear they're worth anything other than what they're actual worth. A silver dollar's worth $1. And then some of them, obviously, if they're made of silver or whatever, then there's some value in them. But no, like 1870s coins. It's crazy. Nostalgia's dead, brother. Yeah, so no. Pedro's stamp collection ain't doing it for you, buddy. Now, that stuff that you'd like to get your hands on again, maybe. Who knows? You know what is worth a lot? Those Costakos Brothers posters. Those have some value, and some of the Nike posters from that time. But the problem with that is we all put them on our wall.
They're all tacked.
They're gone.
Beds and yeah.
Nobody leaves them in the thing to just sit.
I had the Bash Brothers. Let's see. On my wall in my room as a kid, I had the Bash Brothers, which was so cool.
They're sitting on the front of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blues Brothers style.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had the Hitman, which I think was Ronnie Lott. I think it was called the Hitman.
Yeah, Ronnie
where
Lott.
he's there in like a gangster thing. Mm-hmm. He looks pretty good. I had those 2. I had 2 different Rex Chapman posters.
Were they both Costakos Brothers? They're
I don't
just
think
separate.
either was. They were both Nike.
Okay.
Or one was maybe a Sports Illustrated poster.
Sports Illustrated, yeah, you could order posters in the back of Sports Illustrated. I
Yeah,
had
it
couple
was
of
a
those
Sports
Magic Johnson
Illustrated
ones,
poster. I had the Jordan one where he's dunking the moon,
Yeah,
which was an awesome
that's a
poster.
really cool one. Yep.
And then to round out my collection, I had a poster of one Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul.
Oh, yeah.
I had Samantha Fox.
Promise of a New Day.
That was a big one. I had Alyssa Milano in a Blackhawks sweater. Several of the only Costico's brother one I had was the Boz.
Ooh, I had the Boz too, but
the
that did not have a long life on my wall. That
was short.
It was a short run on the wall.
Short run on the wall.
Yeah. And
so
I think I actually had your Twitter header. I had that one as well.
Oh, Bono's. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a very good one. The G-Man is here. G-Man. Couple of things around the league.
Why is G-Man so great?
How could you not be?
I know. He just is.
He's
a lot of people are not great, though.
Well, a lot of people who suck.
But the G-Man is not amongst them.
No.
By the way,
young Gabriel.
Since we got because you just mentioned that. So I sent you this morning.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you got it or not because you don't follow me on social, so I don't know if I'm allowed to DM you. But
my DMs are open.
But I think you did, and I sent you from the Ringer. It said, "Here's an outtake from Alan Siegel's oral history of Danny McBride," which I can't wait to read. So with the ending of Gemstones, it's a 33-minute read. Not what I sent you. What I sent you is a 2-minute excerpt of it.
33-minute read.
Oral history of Danny McBride. I can't wait to read it. I'm sure I'm going to be dying laughing.
We did this. I think we settled this last year. He is the funniest person on the planet. Currently.
McBride?
Yeah. I think he's the one guy who, any room he's in, he's the funniest. I think he's that guy right now. I've heard other comedians say that too. And like on, what's the movie he did with all the comedians? This Is the End, maybe?
Yeah, the end is great.
Where he just steals it. And like the oral history of that is like, we were all funny, but he was on another level.
You know the great scene that he does in there.
Yeah.
He's talking about Puritans.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an incredible. It's called King of Fools, the oral history of Dan McBride. Siegel posted it yesterday, 33-minute read. So what I sent you today is oral history outtakes to Ashley Schaefer showdown at Eastbound and Down. And you get comments. Have you read it yet?
I have not.
Okay, so it's a minute.
Yeah.
It's a minute to read it. It's very quick. But what it also has, and I don't believe that I've seen this before, it's 3.5 minutes of the shooting of that, of all the different iterations of his plums. And
I have seen that
young
clip. Yeah.
All of it. I crying in my kitchen this morning.
Isn't it everything that you would want that scene to be?
Yes, and they're like yelling at each other, trying to keep a straight face.
Right.
Like, stop screwing it up. And he is just, in the first commercial break, we're going to invite everybody in here. We'll watch this together.
G-Man, you're before we had your level of excellence, which has superseded anything we've previously seen.
It is the number one level. There's
been a lot of great ones. You're the George
Mount
Washington,
Everest.
He's the George Washington on the Mount Rushmore.
I'm just saying in terms of the height of his peak.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Everest.
Absolutely. We actually had an intern who we asked him, we on the end of the first day, I said, you have one job. I need you to go watch a little of Eastbound and Down.
That's it. That's all he said.
That's all I said.
That was the requirement.
That's it. And he refused. Guess how many letters of recommendation he got out of these two?
I'm going to go with 0.
0. None. Zilch. Guess how many you'll get? As many as you want.
As many as you want.
Whatever you need.
By the way, hopefully he doesn't even need...
Whatever you need, G-Man.
Hopefully he's just going to have a J-O-B. Won't even need it.
That's true, but I'm just saying, like, the rest of his life.
The letters.
Letters of recommendation in perpetuity for G-Man. Forever.
G-Man, your cup will runneth over with
young
our
Gabriel.
praise. Young Gabriel.
So good. So good.
I mean, the end of the... I can't wait to watch this with you in person, and Connor and the G-Man. We're going to have a great
need
time.
a stack before we'll have to be...
It'll be a stack.
Shuck. Yeah.
It'll be a stack.
Who's going to come up here in about 10 minutes. You didn't know what you're going to get into this week. So we had Nostalgia's Dead, and then we had 100 Men versus a Gorilla. Our guys...
Weighed in
on this. So this was our content
so real
team
quick,
had this.
before we get to that,
go ahead.
There's a little Barstool golf tournament.
Okay.
We're going to show you a little promo video for.
Okay.
We got to get Z in this. We have to get him in this.
What time of year is it, though?
I want in.
August.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be tough.
But we got to make this happen.
I don't know how we're going to do it that time of year. It's training camp, G-Man.
Go for it.
I really enjoy... Are we going to play? Do we have this? We're going to play this first?
Oh, we do, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Is this... It's all legal? We're good?
Yeah.
It's been vetted?
I watched the whole thing. We're good.
Trusting you, Gabe.
All right.
So about a year ago, I said I want to create a golf tournament like no golf tournament in the world.
If you can get the top people in, I'll do $1 million tournament.
a golf tournament where all these golf influencers, creators, people on the internet who play golf, good, bad, ugly, they love the game, come together for an event with a prize pool of at least $1 million. People probably thought I forgot about it. Well, I didn't. I reached out to different people. I said, get me Fat Perez, get me Robbie Berger, get me Joey Coldcuts, get me these guys, and I did. So Barstool, Bob Does Sports has combined forces. In August 12th to August 16th, you are going to see the Internet Invitational, invite only, at Big Cedar Lodge, the Ozarks, Missouri. One of the great golf resort destinations in the world. We will be there. You got to get the invite in the mail. 7 figures, cash, white knuckles. Like white knuckles, a guy like me. I'm not good enough to play. I'll be on the announcement. And by the way, this isn't your mother's golf tournament. We're not going to be quiet in the thing doing like this. We want bad shots. We want you to feel the pressure. It's going to be 30 to 50 to 60 of the most well-known golfers, celebrity athletes, internet people with big money, big stakes, and us in your ear chirping. A guy like me with $1 million on the line, walk into the 18th fairway with everything coming down, and that happens. That's what we're looking for. August 12th, August 16th, Big Cedar Lodge in the Ozarks. Bob Does Sports, Barstool have combined to create a new company, the Internet Invitational. The best of the best of the worst, however you want to put it, invite only.
I want in, G-Man.
So about
I want in. Get me in. 2 things. Number 1, I want in. Number 2, I want in. 3 things. Number 3, I want in. And number 4, what he did at the end of that to hit that particular shot is a 1 in a billion.
Tell
Like,
the
that would
people
be
what
hard
happened.
for a tour pro to.
Tell the people what.
So
Because they can't see it. We're watching.
for radio, not a visual medium. At the end of it, he goes, could you imagine all the pressure? He goes, and I do that on the 18th, and he basically topped the ball, and it went 5 feet.
Yeah.
To hit the golf ball and have it do that is a 1 in a billion. Like, that would be, I think you could have a tour pro, and they would sit there, and yeah, they would probably get it after a few, but to just do that in one that is incredible.
Yeah.
He's not a good golfer. I don't think he meant to. I think he actually was hoping that he was going to hit a good shot right there.
Just pure luck.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not good enough
Completely.
to do that
He's
on
not-
call.
No.
On demand?
No.
Not a chance. I want in. How do we get me in?
All right. Here's going to be the issues.
We'll find a way.
You're going to have a preseason game somewhere during that window. I'm sorry. I don't want to throw more water on the. I mean, look at it out there.
When did Gibbe grow hair?
Here's what. Are they going to do handicaps?
We don't know. Let's get the invite
If
and then let's.
if it's a no handicap, you'd win for sure.
No, there's some really good. There's like scratch golfers out there. That
Are any of those foreplay guys good?
Yeah. Frankie's good. I don't know if they're going to be allowed to play.
They're not at your level though.
I could
I don't
take
think
Riggs
they're
and
threes.
I think I could.
You
be-
could.
yeah,
I've
I
seen
think I
Riggs
could take
swing. You're not on that level.
No.
He's not on that level. I don't know if he's still buddies with the bus and with the boys guys. I feel like Witt could probably play.
There's a guy. What's his Grant Horvath? I think is his name. He can play.
Okay.
He can definitely play.
Yeah.
So you need to go Bautista on getting yourself into this.
Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
Yeah,
That's what we need. That's
Yes.
what we
That's
need.
what we need right
Yes.
there.
How do we get me into this?
This was the start.
How do
Connor
we?
says this was the start.
This is the start of it.
Post it on there. Do you mind if I hop on the mic?
I want
Yeah,
in.
no, please
This
do,
was
Connor
the
with a
start.
K.
So we're gonna get this clipped out. I've already reached out to Bobby Burgers, the Bobby Fairways.
Beautiful.
To see, it was a shot in the dark. Just message on Instagram. Just
Yeah.
let him know who I am, who Nathan is.
Yeah.
And then getting this clipped out to put on Twitter.
I got
get
news.
it.
I got news for everybody. I got news for everybody. If this was any other time of the year, our boy would be in.
I would agree. It is a little.
I think
tricky.
I think you would walk to the first tee with no problem, based on who you are, the reaching out,
Yes.
all of it, the affiliations.
Hold
all
on.
of it.
Let's-
I think the only issue here is the dates involved.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Just hold on. Hear me out. Before we start getting into negative town, the NFL season kicks off on September the 11th. Is that right this year?
Yeah,
That is right.
I don't know. Don't we know like when the Hall of Fame game is?
Hall of Fame game's July 31st, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, there's no chance.
Hold on now. He said that
It was 4
correct
days.
me if I'm wrong. Did he not say the 12th to the 16th?
Yeah, he did.
So if we play on Sunday the 17th,
You might run into joint practices.
Is that Philly?
I could see though, because I think
the
we're
12th
going
through
to
the
open at
16th.
home. Well, we'll find out May 14th. But let's say that is a home game,
On
preseason
when?
opener on the Sunday, and it's played Sunday the 17th. May. Hey, come on. We could be national TV. We could be Monday Night Football the 18th. Come on.
All right, we need 2 things.
We need that.
Okay, you need
That's
that.
one.
That's the minimum jumping off point. You're
Okay.
going to need a PJ because you can't fly from the Ozarks to here without a connection. So you need a PJ. So we'll have to get creative with that. Number 3, I'm going to be on your bag.
Done.
That's what's going to happen.
So 3's
if we
done.
do this. Okay, that's the first 2 are bigger hurdles. I think
3 is already done. It's not a hurdle at all.
it's easy. That would we blow through. The first
Three's-
2 are
three's happened.
relatively.
3's in.
I think they're challenging. I think the other 2 are a little challenging.
Gosh, why couldn't he have done
Why did he do it
the
in
weekend?
preseason?
Just
Do
one
it in
weekend
July.
before. Do it the 9th and 10th.
Do it in July.
Oh
buddy.
yeah. How about July 19th?
Come on, it's wide open.
Oh baby.
Come on. I'll tell you what. This is my prediction. I'm not sure it's going to happen this year because of timing, but you will play in this. I do think you will play in this.
I want in.
I think
I
you're gonna
want
play.
in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Thank you.
Um,
I want in.
all right. Is there anything else we need to get into here? No, I think we're pretty good. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, Nick Shook. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily. It's presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. It is that time. We had it on the Twisted Tea hotline, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. He is Nick Shook.
Nick Shook.
At NFL.com. And he joins us now. The great Nick Shook. Buddy, what now what? We got a little time here. We got the draft. Day one was a week ago yesterday. We learned a lot about these teams. Let's start here with our team. What did you make of what the Browns did on draft day?
Well, first, I'm making a great reaction here to the fact that I hear Bo's voice right now. This is and this is no shade to you as the girl either. I love you both equally, but it feels like it's been a while since I've talked to you both. So
it has
really
been
a
it
privilege, but yeah, it
well,
really
it's
has.
Gibby.
It feels good
Gibby's
to be-
booking you when I'm out. I don't like it at all.
He does a lot of games. He plays
He's
a lot of
curmudgeon.
games like that. He plays a
guy.
lot of games.
A lot of mind games with that guy, Shook.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He can be a bit conniving, right?
Yes.
Just like the Browns were in the draft, and that's how we tie it all.
What a
job,
transition.
Eddie. What a job.
Yeah, I think that they handled the first round really well. I know a lot of fans are upset that they didn't get Travis Hunter. I think it was perfectly fine. I don't know if they were necessarily equipped to maximize his talents right now, and they were better suited to pick up the extra first-round pick and additional draft capital, move back 3 spots, and take the top defensive tackle in the class. That was pretty deep at it, but you want to address that right now. You want to get some of the attention away from Myles Garrett. You want to be able to stop the run, and you want to finally stop cycling through veteran stopgaps at the position. It's been 4 or 5 years of this stuff. You can go all the way back to Sheldon Richardson. You can continue with Malik Jackson. They've been doing it in the free agent market year after year, and they did not. So it was good that they drafted there. You go into round 2. I was a bit surprised by the Schlesinger pick, but I think that it makes sense. We'll see what it means for, I know that it's been said that it had nothing to do with JOK, but I don't quite necessarily believe that. So we'll see what it means going forward. But I think it's a good addition to a core that needed it, and made by a front office that has traditionally not liked to draft linebackers other than Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. So that was solid. And then you get 2 running backs in Judkins and Sampson that I think are fantastic pickups to help rebuild that backfield, stop the revolving door that's been going on back there as well. Fannon's going to be a steal at tight end. People are going to love him in Cleveland. Yep. And he's going to pair really well with David Njoku, and then you get the 2 quarterbacks. So I think they did a fantastic job of maneuvering and capitalizing on where the board fell to them, and they're a better team now because of it.
What do you think has changed for the Cleveland Browns from what you mentioned, kind of what the original plan was? And you go back to 2020 and 2021, I want to say, 2021, I think our defensive tackles were Malik Jackson and Malik McDowell were the opening defensive tackles that season. What has changed from that to using 2 years ago or 3 years ago now, a 3rd-round pick on Siaki Ika, then using your first pick in the 2024 draft, a 2nd-rounder on Mike Hall, and now using your first pick, 5th overall in this draft, on Mason Graham? What do you think has changed in terms of the defensive tackle just market, or the way the Browns view that position, or the way the Browns maybe perhaps utilize that position with Jim Schwartz that has caused what can only be described as clearly a shift in philosophy relative to that position?
I think they understand the importance of depth there and a mix between veterans and youngsters with higher ceilings. Because if you look at the group right now, you still have Shelby Harris in that group. They liked, I think, what they saw from Mike Hall at times, but I know that they needed more. And I think they did that even in the offseason with guys like Malik Collins and then adding Graham in there. Suddenly we're looking at a good little 2 deep here. And I don't think you could have said that about them maybe over the last couple of seasons. You lost Dalvin Tomlinson in free agency as well, so you had to replace him. I like the way that they're adjusting their approach and not just trying to plug holes in free agency. And I think that this draft, more than any other than over the last 3 or 4 years, because you didn't have the first-round picks because of the Watson trade, just carried more importance. This was
no doubt
a turning point draft of sorts. And, yes, you don't get the results from these classes immediately, but at least when it comes to examining it on paper, I just feel better for them in the way that their roster is constructed, and doesn't feel quite as top-heavy because they made picks in the right spots, and it starts at defensive tackle. And again, I think D-tackle and really linebacker more than anything just signaled an admission that, look, we've been avoiding investing, in these guys, at least the highest level capital, and it's time that we do that and spend our first 2 picks on those two positions, because it can get cyclical with roster turnover and of course how the board falls to you. But it was encouraging to see them go back there, because I will say that my biggest frustration with this regime has been the fact that they didn't like to draft linebackers very often when there were talented players there. It's not, it's just because I think that linebacker is a little undervalued in the NFL today because of so much sub-package use, but also could be, a key spot for, getting some of these players that have gone elsewhere. So it was encouraging to see that from this front office.
Obviously, Shook, the headliner here is two quarterbacks. I mean, even if it weren't those two, drafting two, I think, would surprise some people. But then the two that we drafted was also surprising. This is Nathan. I've been talking about this throughout the week, and we could not think of a situation where I think we're going to have like a 4-man quarterback derby here. And obviously, there will be the veterans are here, and you went and acquired Pickett, and you drafted Gabriel first, so there will be some natural kind of leaning. But in terms of like Kevin Stefanski's obligation to play any one quarterback, there isn't any. Could you think in recent memory of a situation like that? And how do you hope Kevin manages that?
I can go back to the Raiders last year with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. Hopefully it goes better than that, though, because they got to the final preseason game, and neither of those guys decided to separate themselves from the other in that race, and we saw how that went. I think you guys should be fired up about the possibility of it, just even if it's just because of uncertainty. Just anything is possible. Any of these guys could emerge, and every rep is going to matter throughout this camp. It's been a long time. I don't know if we've ever seen it this wide open with a team, to kind of answer your question. It usually comes down to a couple of guys, not 4 guys. And I would anticipate that by the end of it, there are 3 left standing, of course. I think you move one in a trade or whatever by the time roster cut down comes. Unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game, and maybe somebody has an injury somewhere else and they come calling for one of your quarterbacks. But I like the approach that they're taking, which is, look, we don't feel too strongly about any of these guys, specifically in this draft, to move up. I know that Cam Ward was not available. The Titans would not make that pick available. And so we're just going to throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And they picked 2 guys in, Dillon Gabriel, who I kind of liken to a bit of a poor man's Baker Mayfield, who's left-handed, who's probably more athletic than Baker, doesn't have as strong of an arm, but has a ton of college playing experience, which can always bode well for a guy stepping into a situation like this to try to get a leg up on the competition. You get Shedeur Sanders, who we know the obvious discourse that surrounded his draft slide and everything else, but that's now in the past. And then, of course, you have Pickett, who's got some pro experience, has been very up and down, kind of encouraging with the Eagles last year in his brief outings, and somebody that you're intrigued by because of how he might fit with Kevin Stefanski. And then we all know what you have in Joe Flacco, and the big question there is, does he still have it in the tank? So every player is coming from a different, vantage point or a different starting place, and they're all being thrown into this pit. And the beauty of it is that you only need one to start. So you hope that one separates himself from the pack, and they have an entire offseason and training camp to try to do so.
When you look at Dillon Gabriel, and I'll tell you, the Browns, this was their guy in this draft, and that's why you saw them take him earlier than I think many people thought he was going to go, because they didn't want to risk losing him. It was basically once Cam Ward was off the board, the Browns' goal in this draft was to come out of it with Dillon Gabriel. They did that. Shedeur Sanders was somebody that they loved on tape, but obviously we talked about, you mentioned the pre-draft process. They never thought he would be there. So the Browns have a situation they didn't necessarily foresee. They thought their quarterback room was going to be Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Dillon Gabriel. When you look at, Gabriel and Sanders and Pickett in particular, the 3 of them, they all win. If they're going to win at this level, it's going to be in a very similar fashion. I think that's an interesting thing, and it's kind of the most synergy we've really had in our quarterback room in terms of how people would actually win in the offense, the way that you can kind of coach this offense one way, and that the Browns feel like, they have a quarterback incubator with Stefanski, Tommy Rees, who's kind of from college, quarterbacked in college, OC at Alabama, and then the venerable Bill Musgrave. How do you kind of see this, not necessarily playing out, but do you think that maybe we finally are in a better situation to develop a young quarterback given the staff, and also given the fact that they're all going to be developing, like the destination's the same? Like if you're going to win in the NFL for these 3 quarterbacks, you're going to win by doing this, being smart and accurate and tough from the pocket, good pocket maneuverability, good recognition, good processing, and then delivering the football on time and accurately. Do you think that helps maybe these 3 young players, not Joe Flacco, but progress better than perhaps we've had young quarterbacks get the opportunity to in the past, because we've had kind of a lot of different styles?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head there, because what I would liken the Browns' approach to the quarterback room since the end of the Baker Mayfield era has essentially been them blindfolded throwing darts and just hoping that one hits a bullseye. Because the styles of a lot of these guys have been different. I can go back to when Jacoby Brissett was, guiding the offense, but with a lower ceiling, but doing a good job of it. And then the transition to Deshaun Watson, which was much different than that. You had DTR in there, who was more of an athletic guy than he was necessarily a passer. They just didn't really know what they wanted to be. And I felt as if they were shifting back toward what Kevin Stefanski likes in quarterbacks when they acquired Kenny Pickett. It made a lot of sense in that regard. And that's why I thought that a Kirk Cousins deal was very possible at the time, because all those attributes that you just described fit him as well. But all the similarities among all these different quarterbacks, I think is going to bode really well, because at least at that point, you're not, you can build an offense around a style, and you can kind of adopt that style, commit to it, and then work from there instead of constantly trying to adjust to the strengths and weaknesses of whoever it is playing quarterback. And, if Browns fans want a reason to be encouraged, I'm not saying Joe Flacco's got the magic of 2023 in him, because what I saw from him in Indianapolis, admittedly behind a less than stellar offensive line, makes me think it might not come back. But what you saw that year was Kevin Stefanski finding a quarterback he could trust to do what he liked to get out of a quarterback, which is all those things that you just described, as well as a very live arm. If that sample size there, which was admittedly short, it gives you a peek into what this offense could look like with stability and consistency at quarterback, regardless of the name on the back of the jersey. If that can kind of give you a preview of what you might see, then you should have a lot of reason to be excited. And then you just hope that one of these guys kind of separates himself from the group and goes and takes the job. I think it's incredibly valuable to have consistency in terms of style at quarterback, because as we've seen, and as I've learned in the QB index over the last few years, 2 years ago, 68 different quarterbacks started an NFL game across the league. There are 32 jobs. 68 guys filled that role. Last year, it was around 60 or 59. What I'm saying is change happens. You need a backup plan. And if your backup is similar to your starter in terms of attributes and skills and everything else, that drop-off is going to be less. And you're going to give yourself a better margin for error and a higher chance of success, especially in a pivotal season like this one for them.
A quarterback's best friend obviously can be 12 personnel, especially if you've got David Njoku and now Harold Fannin there. That becomes very interesting as well. And then the question I have for you is one thing that wasn't addressed, and then we'll get into the running backs.
Yeah.
Yes, but wide receiver.
Oh, there you go.
What do you kind of make of what the Browns did or did not do at the wide receiver position in this draft, and then now we know that they've signed Deontay Johnson?
It's been an interesting case study for how a front office manages a position group since Andrew Berry took over, because we know that this has been a franchise that has not drafted well at the position over the last few years. And sometimes that's strength of class, and it's also where you're drafting. I haven't given up on Ced Tillman. I think that he just hasn't gotten the opportunities yet to really prove who he can be, save for, that game against the Ravens and that sort of thing. That could be a bit of a preview of what you might get. You know what you have in Jerry Jeudy, especially when you feed him the football. And they look wise for extending him as soon as they acquired him. That's set in stone. But the rest of it, a lot remains to be, discovered or understood with this group. I think Deontay Johnson is an interesting example of, is he happier if he's getting playing time and he's getting targets? Is that all that matters? Because his road he's traveled over the last few years has been unpredictable, to say the least. Now, he was the guy in Carolina early in the season last year. So much that the Ravens went and traded for him, because we knew the Panthers weren't going anywhere, and the Ravens they like to add, players of value at the position, especially at receiver in the middle of the season. And then that completely fell apart to the point where he didn't even want to put himself in the game at one point, and I think he was just unhappy there. So can you get him happy in Cleveland? And if you can, then suddenly you get a nice little trio, and I still like the possibility of a DeAndre Carter. We saw very small glimpses of Jamari Thrash last year, and Michael Woods continues to make this roster because when he gets opportunities, he usually capitalizes. It's just that he continues to be kind of an unknown player outside of the Browns organization. So they're not the deepest there, I'll admit that. And they didn't make, big moves there. I actually felt like when everybody thought they were going to take Travis Hunter, I'd be like, oh, here's going to be a pick that Andrew Berry is definitely going to be able to look back on and say, look, I do know how to draft receivers. They trade out of that pick, understandably so. It was a smarter decision. But there is some question marks there. That's why adding Fannin, I think, is big for them, because they can do a lot of 12 personnel, and they got two really good pass catchers in Njoku and Fannin, and I think that's going to lessen the importance of having top-tier talent at receiver, and it's going to balance this offense out, especially with the additions they made at running back.
Well, that's the thing that, I mean, as we're having this whole conversation, it all ties together, right? Because there's going to be a return, Shook, to what Kevin Stefanski is and what he wants to be as a play caller, which is 12 personnel, which is the wide zone. You mentioned Fannin. We've talked about him. You talked about the wide receiver thing. The reality is this running back room got an incredible shot in the arm with Quinshon Judkins in the second round. And then Dylan Sampson, I don't know that anybody thought he'd be around when he was around. Now, all of a sudden, like in one draft, and by the way, Jerome Ford's still here too. I saw that Mary Kay reporting he took a pay reduction for this year. So there's that side of it. But now that running back room is something you can rely upon as well, my friend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and you know, when that pick flashed across the screen on day 3 of Dylan Sampson, I quickly raised an eyebrow because I was shocked that he was still there, like you just said, and I thought, wow, that's a great pick. Like, that's not only did you get Judkins, that's your first answer at the position, but you also get Sampson, two guys with a ton of production at the collegiate level who I think really fill out this room. Because unless you have one of those top-tier elite talents like the Browns have had in Nick Chubb's best days in recent years, you need to be a committee, and your strength is going to be in numbers and in different styles. And I thought Judkins has the potential to be a 3-down back. He lacks the elite top speed and getaway speed that maybe a Travion Henderson had. But that's not going to matter if you're committee backfielding this. It's more about versatility and where he can be most valuable. And adding Sampson in there gives you another guy who I think can make a difference. And then suddenly you got a bit of a three-headed monster here with Ford as well. I don't know if you necessarily get a bell cow out of those three, at least not right away. But again, strength is in depth with this team, and it's in balance. The goal above all is to reestablish some balance across the offense, which was what they were lacking in recent years. And I think they've done a good job, you know, as best as they could in this draft and free agency so far.
It's exciting. And to think, you know, Sampson's got that home run ability, kind of that thunder and lightning, and there's still, you know, a lot of talk about perhaps Nick Chubb coming back. And you mentioned Jerome Ford and reduced his contract. I kind of read that the other way. I don't read that as precluding Nick Chubb at all. I read that as freeing up maybe money for Nick Chubb.
So is that what Mary Kay was inferring in the report, that it was
So Mary Kay,
just so, because this is all happening.
This all happened while we're talking. Yeah.
Nick Shook.
Nick Chubb will likely have to find a new home now that Jerome Ford has accepted a pay cut. Chubb's return to the Browns was largely dependent on whether or not Ford accepted a pay cut or was traded to another team. He took the pay cut on Friday, reducing his salary from $3.5 million to guaranteed to $1.75 million, a league source told Cleveland.com. So to me, that frees up $1.75 million that could be applied to Nick Chubb, and then you see where he's at, you see what the situation is, and maybe you trade Jerome Ford at that point if Nick Chubb's ready to go. I don't see it as a preclusion. I don't jump to that conclusion. To me, that's saving money for something.
Yeah, that's the way I read that too. Is that you have more cap space available to potentially get that done. Now, we don't really know what Chubb has left in the tank, and I say that with all due respect because he's been one heck of a player. He's going to be beloved in this town forever. But why? There's a reason the roster limit's 90 right now, so you can bring guys in and see what they have, and that you're not forced to move a guy here to make space for this guy. I mean, it's May 2nd. You know, we can get, if you're the Browns, you could get Chubb back in the building if you want to, and if he wants to, and see where he's at and go from there before you have to make a move. It doesn't have to be directly tied one to the other. You can make that decision later down the road. And anytime you have less money committed to a guy, I think that just makes it more possible and not the opposite.
Buddy, I want a couple of things around the league. Z and I have discussed this theory of mine, I believe it, that Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh, and they know it, and he knows it. If not, I don't understand what their entire offseason has been about. What do you make of what Pittsburgh is doing? And I understand trying to get in Rodgers' head's a big ask for anybody, but I just can't come to any conclusion other than that. Where do you sit on what Pittsburgh has done this offseason in that situation?
Yeah, I think maybe Netflix did a decent job of getting into his head. I don't know. I think he had some sort of director control over that. No. Yeah, they've essentially telegraphed that they're willing to wait on him as long as possible. The only surprise would be is if he chose not to play football at all. If he's going to play, it's going to be in Pittsburgh. Because if you look at their roster, they are screaming at you that they're waiting on another addition at quarterback. And the only guy left out there is the guy that they've been connected to all along in Rodgers. Otherwise, they're facing an outlook in which they're going to start Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard's going to be the backup. And all due respect to Skylar Thompson, but I think his days of playing on an NFL field, unless it's an emergency, are over. I mean, I've seen upside at the position at the professional level. Yeah, The phrase I keep going back to is what Mike Tomlin said during the owners' meeting at the AFC coaches breakfast, which, by the way, is a spectacle in itself because it's so early in the morning. But he said, "There's no drop-dead date, as in we're willing to wait as long as is necessary to bring him in." Of course, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's very typical of him to make them wait super long. Now that we're in May, he's still not there. But at this point, he could also take the Michael Strahan approach and be like, "Yeah, I'm not going to camp." I think he would need to be in camp to understand his fit in this system, and I'm sure he would be there if he signed with them. But it's one of those instances in which you have a veteran who understands that he's, I guess, earned the privilege to take as much time as he wants. But yeah, I would fully anticipate that he'll be on the Steelers, and beyond that, I can't make any guarantees because I don't really know what he is anymore. The back half of the 2024 season, he was decent with the Jets, but that was pretty much already over. So, but yeah, I do think that's where they'll go, and it'll make more sense on paper right now because otherwise you look across their roster, they look like they're ready to go, and they're just missing that quarterback.
It would just be so odd. If you're a quarterback coming into and learn a new system, he hasn't played with Arthur Smith before, you need to be there and figure it out. Like, why wouldn't you want to be there for everything that you could possibly be there for?
It just would be such organizational malfeasance to be this far along and not have the answer.
That's why, to me, and I agree with you that I think it is more likely than not that if he plays football, he plays for the Steelers. I think they are the heavy favorite. But to me, if he really wanted to be a Steeler, he'd be a Steeler.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Both can be true, I think.
Unless he thinks that hey, I don't need to do that right now.
I think
he's fine.
I think that there's a world in which he's waiting for, and you can't know how this would play out or if it would even happen anywhere, but he's waiting for Josh Allen or Stafford or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or anybody that's on a real contending team to get hurt, and then he says, "I'll be the solution." I think he feels if I'm jumping into his head, J.J. McCarthy I may be. If it turns out that I was wrong, I'd be happy to admit I was wrong. But I think that those scenarios, if Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what he wants out of this year. Yeah. But if what he wants is to win one more Super Bowl, he's not going to win a Super Bowl playing for the Steelers in 2025. I don't believe.
I don't either, but I think you could at least talk yourself into it. I think you could say, if I'm on that team with those weapons and that defense, we got a puncher's chance. I'm with you, but I think
division to jump into. Why are you going to jump into a division with Baltimore and Cincinnati? I almost think I don't know. I think he's waiting for that. That's what I think. I think he's waiting for that. We'll see.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's one of those situations that's strange because Aaron Rodgers is the one driving the ship, which is crazy that at his advanced age, we're still allowing him to get behind the wheel and direct it. But he is, except when it comes to the Vikings, who kind of politely told him no. And the Giants, who said, "We're not waiting around on you. We're going to go sign Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. And draft Jackson Dart, too, and just fill up our own quarterback room." And I think he understands that he's got maybe one path unless something unexpected happened. But, yeah, I mean, it's still crazy. It's crazy to me that, like I said, at his age, that at least one franchise is just sitting there waiting on him.
It really is. It is wild. Nick Shook, always family with us, and we just wanted to take a second to acknowledge and send our condolences to you, obviously, on the passing of your father. We love you, man, and we've been thinking about you for quite some time now. So I just wanted to give you that love, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I feel like I'm giving a canned response at this point, but I've received so much support and love and the condolences and everything else over the last couple of weeks, and I kind of come back to the same conclusion at the end of the day, which is, yeah, it's been difficult. Throughout the draft, there was nothing more I wanted to do than to pick up the phone and talk to him about the Browns draft because he was a diehard Browns fan. He raised me here. We grew up, going to games, and it's a big absence in my life. But the support of people like you and so many people who knew him so well, it makes it a little bit easier to bear. So thanks, guys.
All right, for sure. We love you. The great Nick Shook. Nick Shook.
There he goes. The great Nick Shook, NFL.com, joining us on the Twisted Tea Hotline, presented by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Second hour of the program. Included in that will be a mailbag coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Go ahead. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll do a little offensive breakdown here and a second for you heading into rookie minicamp next week. But we start with a little trivia with G-Man. Hello, G-Man.
Hi, guys.
By the way, the mailbag's open.
Mailbag is
Mailbag's
open.
open.
Yes.
Ask
Tweet
us
your
anything.
questions at Browns_daily.
Do it.
Some already coming.
Hashtag
Do it.
AskCBD.
Oh, I just saw that with NBC.
No way.
Starsky
Starsky
and
and Hutch. Solid.
He's like, what is this?
No,
I'm
it's
like,
solid.
Let the
It's
boy
better
watch.
than you would
Let
think.
the boy watch.
And it's not in rotation.
No,
like it should be.
It should be way more in rotation.
It's really funny.
It's like
Vaughn's
Austin
great.
Powers.
Yeah, Vaughn's great. Snoop's in it.
Snoop is Huggy
yeah.
Bear.
Yeah. It's good.
Isn't The Rock in it? Am I making
Farrell's
that up?
in it. I don't know. I don't remember if The Rock was in it. We picked up about
No, he's
three-quarters of
not
the way
in it.
through. Farrell's in
Farrell's,
it.
yeah.
And is incredible in it. Yeah, there's a lot of wins.
Isn't there the guy, like, what's his name? This guy who has the same name as the owner of Wendy's.
Dave Thomas?
Is it? Yeah, Dave Thomas. Isn't that the name of the actor who's when they do the like disco walk-off when Stiller's like off his rocker? He's like the MC of that
I think that is
disco
it.
walk-off scene.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he is the MC
I think
of that.
so.
Yeah. All right, trivia with G-Man.
So I have compiled a list here
Okay.
of the last quarterback drafted from a handful of colleges.
All right.
Oh, I thought it was going to be name. Okay.
Okay.
This is going to be tough for college football. Nate really should shine here.
So
He's
I
really
will
knows
give
anything
you
about
the school, the
Okay.
year they
All
were
right.
drafted,
Okay.
and the round they were drafted.
Okay.
You just have to tell me who the quarterback is.
Oh, gosh. Okay, go ahead.
We start with the University of Arizona Wildcats. Last quarterback they had drafted was 2012, round 3.
it. Man, I should.
It's got to be in your wheelhouse. You're Arizona Nate. Bear down.
Is it like a?
Who would have been the coach there at that time, like 2012? That's pre-Rodriguez,
Pre-Rich Rod?
pre-Rich Rod at Arizona.
Dick Tomey?
Dick Tomey. John Makovic? I don't know. Arizona.
Was it like a
2012.
Tuiasa Sopo?
He was at Washington, unless he transferred.
This guy had a successful NFL career.
From the U of A?
I got nothing.
What team
He's
drafted
a
him?
Super Bowl champion,
What team drafted him?
drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Arizona.
Did Kevin Kolb end up there?
It is
Arizona. Philly.
Nick Foles.
Oh, Foles.
Foles.
He didn't start there, though, right?
No.
Didn't Foles start somewhere else?
I don't know. I just have a list.
Nick Foles. That's
I
good.
don't know. I have a list. I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Foles went to Michigan State first,
Michigan
and
State.
then finished at Arizona. Westlake, Austin High School. They've had a lot of them play there. That's a bad job of us not remembering Nick Foles. I don't have any recollection of him playing at Arizona. None.
Me neither.
None.
All right,
Next.
we'll go from Tucson to Tempe, Arizona State. Also 2012. This guy was drafted in the second round.
Jake the Snake Plumber.
He's like 98.
I know. But he is Arizona State.
He is. Yeah. Second-round pick. It's not Sam Keller.
Pretty tall guy.
Dan McGuire.
Oh, Montanan. He was here.
Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler. Got it.
Yeah.
Moving down south to Auburn. Last quarterback they had drafted, 2019, round 4.
Well, first round last year, Bo Nix started there.
On a technicality.
That's Oregon.
He did start there for a couple
We're calling
years.
that Oregon. Although
He
Dylan
started
Gabriel,
a couple years.
Dylan Young Gabriel
Young Gabriel.
would be.
Several schools.
What round was it, did you say?
2019.
Fourth round
Fourth rounder.
to the New England Patriots.
So that was like after Ricardo Lewis was there. Because that would have been around like 17. What was that guy's name? He was not a
I can't
great
believe
arm.
I don't know this better.
Not a great arm. 'Cause it's-
2019.
Now college, this is way hard because now everybody moves around.
But it's also, yeah,
It's
these
not
are
back when they weren't.
Like 19 Auburn, they
Something Nix.
Bo Nix is the
Not
kid
Bo
who's-
Nix.
no,
Was
no,
there
not
a
him.
Chris Nix? That
I
was
don't think
Florida.
There's two Nick. That was Chris Leak.
Chris Leak.
it was Jarrett Stidham.
Stidham started at Baylor. See?
It's too hard when they
Bouncing around. G-Man.
Let's move down to Iowa. 2020, 7th round.
Chuck Long.
No.
He was 84. Ricky Stanzi. No? He's a Northeast Ohio.
That's too recent.
That's
for
not
Ricky
recent
Stanzi.
enough. Yeah, Ricky Stanzi's more
older.
like 2000s. I bet this is a transfer kid, too.
Drew Lock.
Nate
He's
Stanley.
Missouri. Nate Stanley.
Who I've never heard of him.
Drew Lock was Missouri.
I've never heard of Nate Stanley. Same colors.
Similar.
Let's go out to Huntington, West Virginia with Marshall. 2003, first round.
Chad Pennington.
Pennington. Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich.
Byron Leftwich.
Oh man, Leftwich.
Which one came first, Pennington or
Pennington.
Leftwich? Pennington first, then
Pennington's
Leftwich?
older. Yeah.
Yeah, because he threw to Random-Moss.
Let's jump over to Virginia. 2004, round 3, UVA.
West Virginia. I was gonna say Pat White.
Pat White was great.
Is that the answer for West Virginia? Is that on that list?
It is, and Pat White is not the answer for West Virginia.
I bet the kid who transferred from Florida is the answer from West Virginia.
Yes.
What's his name?
Will Greer.
Will Greer.
Will
yeah.
Greer.
I got
Pam
nothing
Greer.
on UVA 2003.
I'll give you, he played for the Texans, the Falcons, and
Oh,
the
Schaub.
Ravens.
Matty Schaub.
Schaub.
That job. If we did this the other way, if you did this inverted, and you just gave me the name of the quarterback, I could get you the name of the college. I think I would have got every single one of those right inverted. But
Nate
the way
Stanley,
we're doing
I would
it,
not have gotten.
I would not have gotten him either. But I think the rest of those I would have gotten. If
Yeah,
you would have done it
Leftwich
the
I
other
would have
way.
gotten.
Yeah,
Nick Foles we might not have gotten.
I think
we
I
were-
could have got to Arizona.
Arizona?
I think I would have got there. Yeah, I probably would have guessed one of the Texas schools. Though, 'cause I knew
All
he
right,
was a
give me
Texas
some more,
kid.
G-Man.
Go ahead,
This is
G-Man.
fun.
Yeah, let's hit a few more. Let's go to Miami of Ohio.
Ben
2013.
Roethlisberger.
No.
Zach Dysert.
Zach, you got it. You got it.
Ohioan too. Zach Dyson.
I was at the game in 2013 when they played Buffalo.
Okay.
Is that possible?
You're in Oxford?
I think so. I don't know. I saw
How did you
I
end
saw
up-
Khalil Mack in college, and I've seen Zach Dysert play. So that feels to me like it happened.
Buffalo
at the same time.
played Ohio
Buffalo
State.
played Ohio State.
So maybe I saw
Khalil
that
Mack
there.
bum rushed.
Yeah.
I think Alex Boone.
Yep.
I think.
Was a right tackle.
And Alex Boone was a nice player. No, was it Alex? I don't. He's in Northeast Ohio. I don't want to do bad on him.
Was it Taylor Decker?
It might have been Taylor Decker.
I don't know. Khalil Mack was a man child.
When was? Yeah,
It was 13 because it was the 14 draft.
Khalil was in the 14
Yeah.
draft.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So then it was.
But I got
It's Taylor
Dysert,
Decker.
so I'm pumped. Let's not take away. Let's not bury the lead.
No, good job at you. Yeah, good. hit.
Baylor, 2015, round 4.
So it's after RG3.
Bryce Petty.
Rice Petty.
Bryce Petty.
Got it.
Like that. I like that.
California, UC Berkeley, 2017, round 3.
Davis Webb.
Got it.
Formerly of Texas Tech,
Davis Webb.
I believe.
Because 2016 first round would have been
It's amazing.
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, 1 overall. It's amazing how many of these guys played for
Move.
2 places, and this was
Even back then.
Even back then, yeah.
We're starting to heat up a little bit. Though.
We're getting going a
Dice
little
or
bit.
Davis Webb. It's a nice little poo-poo
Texas
platter.
A&M, last quarterback drafted 2021, round 3.
Josh Johnston. Is that his name? Not him.
This guy did have a cup of coffee here.
Oh, Kyle Allen? No, Kyle Allen wasn't here. Kyle Allen was about everywhere, and he
Had
played
a
at a bunch
cup
of
of
schools.
coffee here.
Kellen Mond,
Oh,
Come
gosh, that's
on.
right. That's right.
What year did you say?
2021.
Yeah,
He was
I
a-
should have known that.
longer ago.
Minnesota
Kellen Mond.
Vikings draft.
Yes, he was.
We'll go
It's
two
a
more.
third round pick who I think lasted a year.
Two more.
And by the way, he was lovely when he was here, I'm sure. But
I
anybody
never
who
talked
watched
to him.
anybody who watched him in college when the Vikings picked him was like, "Wait, what? Hold
Yeah.
on, what?"
Probably only watched the film of the 74-72 game.
Yeah,
against
it was
us.
it just wasn't there because he was a big recruit.
Illinois, 2002, round 5.
Kurt Kittner.
Got it. And finally, Michigan State, 2016, round 4.
The kid from Walsh.
This is a Northeast Ohio kid.
Yeah, the kid who played at Walsh.
He played
Connor
a playoff
Cook.
game for the
Connor Cook.
Connor Cook.
Connor
Yep.
Cook.
There you go.
And then, so 15 would have been for Michigan State. Connor Cook, how many years did he start?
15 was when they won in the shoe, but he wasn't the quarterback when they won in the
No,
shoe.
he missed
They had
that
the backup.
game.
Yeah.
And then before that, what, Kirk Cousins?
Cousins was
Till 12?
Cousins was like 12,
12?
I would say.
So he was before Cook.
Yes.
And then before him was it been Hoyer?
They had a good run. I mean, Mark D'Antonio crushed it.
Yeah.
He came from Ohio State as a defensive coordinator at Ohio State, and what he took advantage of was a fall off of the Michigan program at the end of Carr and the hiring of Rich Rodriguez, and his connections in the state of Ohio. They started to get all these kids from Ohio that normally would have gone to Michigan, and then they started winning battles, recruiting battles against Michigan in the state. That had never been done before. So, yeah, he had an incredible run of talent. All right, take a quick time out, then we'll do the offense.
Just real quick. So would you say
Sounds
then
good?
is the resurgence of Michigan the reason why Michigan State has?
Yeah, I think misses on coaches. I mean, there's a million things. There are. I think the big thing I tell this to Buckeye fan all the time. They are so lucky because to have never had a dip in 50 years, there are no programs that are unflappable from a bad coaching hire. A bad coaching hire can, in fact, affect every program. Michigan, Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, every big program, USC currently, every big program in the country has made a mistake hiring a coach.
Yep.
Except Ohio State. They're the only ones that since Woody Hayes have hired Hall of Fame coaches every single time. No misses.
What did it remind me? It went from
Woody Hayes, Earl Bruce, John Cooper, Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, Ryan Day.
was there a year before Meyer?
Well, interim Fickle.
Fickle.
For an
Okay,
interim.
I remember Fickle. Okay,
He was
that's what
never
I
the full
asking.
time. He was
Okay,
interim.
Got it.
But no, they never missed on a coach. And honestly, Fickle was the only year that they really fell off. They went 6-7 that year, still made a bowl. But that was it. And that's because he lost his 4 best players right before the season, including his quarterback. So it was a mess. But I mean, just everybody else, you miss on a coach and it's gone. We'll take an in-depth look at the state of the Browns offense heading into rookie minicamp coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. More fun to your fandom with the Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Download today. Get 50 back in bonus bets when you place your first wager of 10 or more. Bally Bet is official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to take a little bit of an in-depth dive of the Browns offense as we kick off rookie minicamp next week. It's funny. The G-Man puts this in here. The first line is quarterback. There's 5 names on the quarterback thing, and they're all known. It's not like any of them are like Joe Schmohawk. They're all known. Everybody knows who all of them are. Pickett, Flacco, Gabriel, Sanders, and, of course, Deshaun, who is very, very unlikely to play this year with the second.
Yeah, we'll call him. He's injured. So
injured, yeah.
The 4 quarterbacks: Pickett, Flacco, Gabriel, Shador, Sanders. My guess is 3 will be on the final roster, and I think we need to be at 23 to 24 max on offense.
Do you really think do you think it's possible we'll carry 4 at the beginning?
No,
really,
no.
That's going to make a tough decision, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say no. I guess it is possible. I think that would be without precedent.
Yeah.
That is a very valuable spot that you would be using on 2 people that would not even be active.
Oh, I know, yeah.
You'd have probably 2 inactives every game coming from there. And if you needed, position players, like, what are you going to do? Now, the thing that makes it more feasible is that because now you can elevate people from the practice squads, that it gives you, I mean, my goodness gracious.
Look at it out there right now. Do we want to do this today? Or do we have the right headspace for this? Like, I know that this is happening.
I'm really sad.
I know it. I can look out there and see. I guarantee you this. The blonde is not pleased.
No. People are running around. It's all of a sudden.
They're scurrying. This is like a deluge.
It's like, it honestly looks like it's nighttime outside. But the weird part is that the sky above it looks light, which is always makes me very nervous.
That's nervy. That's all right.
It makes me a little nervous. I don't like that.
All right, let's get to our numbers. Let's lock in here.
All right, here we're locking. We're locking. I'm in the right headspace.
All right. I know there's a lot though. I can see it out there too. I'm not pleased.
It's just like, sometimes
you need a canoe to get to the parking lot.
When you think you've got a good stretch laid out and you're like pretty pumped about it because there's something on the horizon that might impact your ability to have 3-day in a row stretches of golf.
Yep.
To get rain out is really just a punch in the gut.
Look at it there. I can't even see the parking lot.
What is this? I don't think we could walk to our cars right now.
No, that's a problem.
There are winds as well. This is not just...
This is a significant situation.
This is a monsoon.
It's a good thing I didn't wash my car yesterday.
Just did.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's going to power wash it right now, buddy. What's going on out there? Have you gotten an official word that you're off?
There's a lot of commitment from the others involved.
Boys, that place, you can get, there's not even a tea time. You just show up. So you're fine. Don't worry. There'll be another day for it.
Yeah. I'm not worried.
By the way, on most days, you could show up at that place and you'll never see another human.
True.
So you have that to look forward to, which is nice.
Yeah.
Pace of play is a big emphasis. You're going to thrive out there.
I just think it's hilarious. Somebody would be driving through this.
Like on the way to golf?
Yeah.
Like thinking, oh, yeah, we're going to play?
Yeah,
I mean, it's audible on the roof. It's young Gabriel's home track. It's right in his neck of the woods.
We just got on your phone, I bet you got it because you have AccuWeather as well.
Yeah.
We just got a flood advisory for Berea until 4:30. That's what it says, G-Man.
Yeah, I did. I just got that too. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. What a wonderful time. Oh, my God. Look at these alerts. And look at this radar situation. What a mess.
What a mess.
No, there's no way around it, buddy. Yeah, this is just bomb central. It's just bombed.
Why do you think this is this? I feel like this is happening, and I complain. Maybe it's just every year this happens, but it feels like this is happening a little bit more often than I would. Wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour, 1 inch size hail. So everybody, just be safe. Be safe out there, would you?
Got to drive 2 hours south tonight.
I think
What are you
tonight
doing in
when he
Columbus,
when
Kev? I think you're going to be all right.
when you're good after 6.
No, I'm going southeast. I'm going towards the West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio border it's the
Wheeling?
son's second birthday party with the in-laws this
Is
weekend.
that Wheeling or where is it?
Steubenville?
Yeah, close to Wheeling, about 30 minutes north of Wheeling.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Near Big Red Country.
Yep.
Steubenville. I'm not messing around. Hey, here's what we're going to do. Executive decision as a group. We're going to table this for Monday.
Table it. We got through quarterback.
We have to get in the right headspace.
When we're in the right headspace for it. Let's really quick address the Nick Chubb stuff that is going on. I think a lot of it is based off of the Mary Kay report of the restructure of the deal with Jerome Ford. She, in the tweet, assumes that means the end of Nick Chubb here. Now, we've talked about that that's a very real and likely possibility based on everything that's happened. I'll just tee this up for you. I don't know that this necessarily means that.
I don't either. I do think that it would be if you went with Judkins, Sampson, and Chubb as your 3 running backs. What I think is interesting about it is that you don't really have somebody that you are. Chubb's not going to be your third down back. Like, who's your pass protector? That's why I think getting Jerome Ford back obviously made a lot of sense. I think that'll be his role initially. Could you carry 4 running backs? Of course you could. You could carry 4 running backs. Now, I think I would love to see him back. I still would like to see him back. I think it all makes a lot of sense. I just think if you went 4 running backs, you're at a minimum of 7 between running backs and quarterbacks, so that gives you 17. So I think you could get away with 2 tight ends on the active roster. I think you could get away right now with 1, 2, 3, 4.
You said 5 receivers.
5
right?
receivers.
Earlier the week, yeah.
And then you'd have 2 centers, 4 guards, and probably 3 tackles. So that's 9, 11, 16, and 7 would be 23. So you could get away with it. You could even get away with 4 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 5 receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 centers, 4 guards, and the 3 there. So 9 on the O-line, 2 at tight end. You're probably going to want to carry 3, though, is my guess. So that puts you at 12. 5 and 4 would put you at 21, and then 3 would put you at 24. It's doable. It's doable to have Nick Chubb. It's doable. I think that it becomes unlikely, and I think you could end up in a situation that could be, if, let's say that he is fully back, he's not going to be inactive, but then who's going to be inactive? Dylan Sampson? Judkins?
Yeah.
Are you going to have 4 running backs active each week? Only Ford really plays special teams.
No, I mean, I anticipate, barring some sort of a shock, that Quinshon Judkins is RB1. Away you go, and then the rest, it's how it goes. You rotate him through and keep everybody fresh, and maybe ride the hot hand. I mean, it worked for Ohio State this year. Ride whoever's hot, and away you go. We'll see. So we will do the full offensive breakdown and the defensive breakdown
next week.
We will do that on Monday. We will open up the mailbag coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Oh, look at that. Lovely flowers being delivered here in the office
Oh,
by
wow.
young Bill Gabriel.
Bill the Archer.
There he is. Yeah, unbelievable out of that guy, huh?
Yeah.
I think our security staff, led by the great John Frayne, there is some formidable humans in there.
Oh, where's he going?
That's nice. That's a nice touch.
That is nice.
It's cleared up a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, an update from the kid. He's dodging raindrops now, playing great, so rain is coming.
Come on, kid.
Come on. God, get the kid out there. Kid, nothing's stopping him from playing golf 2 days in a row.
No. Well, he's trying.
He's trying to get out there.
He's actually wouldn't be 2 days in a row.
Yeah, because you tried. All right, time for a little bit of the... Oh, I should tell you this. Be part of the most passionate fan base in the NFL. Become a season ticket member today. Join as Huntington Bank Field for all home games this year. Visit browns.com/tickets now. Time for a little segment of the mailbag on a Friday.
Can I just say something real quickly?
You can say anything you like. You've got 26 minutes.
I don't know if this is happening to you.
Okay.
But I think there might be even some hail again today, but there was hail some yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you getting then bombarded by hail chasers is what I would call them?
No, I've not seen these people. What are you suggesting? That people coming around looking for hail?
No, they're coming around to be like, oh, let me check your roof out so we can file a claim and get you a new roof because of hail damage. I've gotten flyers, people at my door. Yeah. I've gotten stuff in my mailbox. Yeah. I've gotten phone calls now. I've gotten emails.
Everyone's tracking you down looking for that hail damage.
Yeah, let's just calm down. By the way, that's the reason when everybody out there is getting mad that now they all have like wind hail deductibles and their roofs are being valued differently. These are the people who are responsible for that happening to all of you who never did anything wrong.
There you go. Yeah. We don't ever really have... Now, Montana, you would get I remember once having a probably what I would describe as a lacrosse ball or squash ball size hail. I haven't seen any of that here. I mean, usually when we get hail here, it's pretty minimal.
Yeah, 1 inch.
Just little fellas, like a plum. How are you, Gabriel?
With a blue hue.
Feeling young. Feeling
ready to go to the farmer's market.
Always a pleasure when we get to open the mailbag on Friday.
Sure.
So we'll start with Jack.
Going to be standard operating all summer long, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Summer long. Go ahead, G-Man.
Cleveland native just moved back into the area after having a job in Indiana. What is the best restaurant on the west side? Would love to know your thoughts. Go Browns.
I'd tell you move to the east side.
Yep, first I would
take care of you. Do you have a west side? My sister-in-law lives west. Both my sister-in-laws live west side. Do you have one off the top?
So there's a
Pier W is great.
Pier W. There's
awesome.
Luca, or what used to be Luca, has a west side one as well. And then just go downtown Marble Room, Luca.
All that
Aqua de
stuff.
Luca. I think it's now Aqua de Luna.
Pier W is probably my favorite of the ones that I go west side. That's such a nice spot. They do a good job at that location.
Connor says Dante's Lighthouse. Sorrento as well.
Well, put him on the mic. He would know. He's a west side guy.
Yeah, I'm out there in Lakewood. I would say Sorrento off of Detroit. Highly sought after.
Yep.
Definitely Dante's Lighthouse right there, right outside of Edgewater. Nice little spot. What is it? Bar Italia, I think, is another good spot. I know Nathan was kind of going the higher end. This is more like middle of the road type of good spots to find in Lakewood.
I like it. Good job out of you.
Yeah.
Connor with a K.
There you go. Hope we could help in the dining adventures. Greg asks, what young players other than our 2025 rookies do you expect or hope to make huge jumps this year?
My call.
Mike Hall, absolutely. I think Mike Hall's in for he's in for a big, big, big season this year. I think I'm expecting very big things from Mike Hall.
Don't you think? I mean, him and
yeah. And then
Mace
you said,
together,
you said
other than rookies, young players other than rookies.
McGuire. I think Isaiah McGuire is going to keep
Ryan.
trending in a very positive way.
I tell you, we need Cedric Tillman.
We need Ronnie Hickman.
We need Ronnie
right
Hickman
now.
to come along.
We need Ronnie Hickman to come in a big way.
Yeah, you need. I think you need Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, Cedric Tillman would be a big one as well.
Needs to come along.
All right, we're going to revisit the gorilla discussion. Trey Carey asks, would you rather have one gorilla on your football team or 100 DK Metcalfs?
Well, 100 DK Metcalfs, I think for sure.
Well, you can only play 11 at a time. So if you had a gorilla that was lined up over the center, I think that's going to be a problem.
He'd be unblockable.
Right. So I'll take one gorilla.
What do you think would be? I mean, 11 DKs would be a lot, though.
Yeah, are they going to block a gorilla?
No, they're not.
Are they going to throw the ball to themselves as well?
Yeah. Oh, I guess if you think of it from the perspective of you could either have like the Cleveland Browns or 11 DK Metcalfs, or the Cleveland Browns is currently constructed, add a silverback at nose tackle.
That's what I'm doing.
Then I think I'm doing that one.
That's what I'm doing. I'm not even thinking twice about it.
Yeah, I think they'd be unblockable.
I think that's
if they
the
want
same.
to. I think they just throw people around.
So furthermore, Ty asks, in a 100v1 gorilla scenario, out of every active NFL player, who would be your first overall pick to take down the gorilla?
Active?
Miles would
yes.
be up there, just for the buttes. I mean, Miles would be on a short list. Aaron Donald would have been my pick.
Aaron Donald would have been my pick as well.
Miles would be way, way up on that list.
What about is like a Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Dexter Lawrence,
And we're all
Jeffrey Simmons?
Yeah. Like J.J. Watt would have been a good one on that list. The
J.J.
Hoff would
Watt.
have been good on that list. As a short, I mean, the one thing on the 100, like you give me 100 Jamar Chases, I think that's pretty good against a gorilla because you're gonna have a lot of quickness where you're gonna get close.
Okay, Zach asks, scenario.
Yeah.
New homeowner, you discover a bird has nested, eggs hatched with baby birds actively tweeting, are now living in the bathroom vent attached to your house right next to the front door. What's the next move? This seems awful.
Eradicate.
You got to call. Yeah, you got to.
Get rid of the nest. It's done. You
Would
can't live like that.
Try to find, if you can, somebody who would humanely relocate the nest. But if that's not possible, then you have to deal with. They got to be out of there.
There's a lot of birds.
A lot of birds. If the NFL changed to just 4 mini conferences, so North, East, Southwest, you're merging AFC, NFC North, AFC, NFC East, AFC, NFC West. That's how I read it.
Okay.
What would be the best mini conference?
The North. You'd have.
So
Cincinnati.
well, hold on. Would we let's take it a step further. So what did you say were the places? North, South, East, West?
Yes.
Okay. So we're not obligated to take the AFC North and NFC North? Are we making our own divisions, or are we just taking the Norths and putting them together?
I think you're putting them together.
Then
yeah.
That's the answer by a mile.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who would be in the vicinity.
So the East would have Buffalo.
The South would
Philly,
be the worst across
Washington.
The
South's
West
the
and the
worst.
East would fight for second, and the North would win.
The West would have Kansas City, San Francisco, Denver, L.A. Chargers, L.A.
Seahawks,
Rams,
Cards, yeah.
and then Arizona, Seattle, Las Vegas.
I mean, just last year.
I mean, the North is
it's
loaded.
not close. Here are the records just last year of the 8 teams in the 2 Norths. NFC first. 15-2, 14-3, 11-6, 5-12. The Bears were 5-12. With all that talent, they were 5-12. AFC North, Ravens 12-5, 10-7, 9-8, 3-14. I don't even think it's remotely close. The AFC West had 3 teams over 500 because Denver was 10-7 as well. 3 teams made the playoffs. But it's the North.
Yeah, it's definitely the North.
It's definitely the North.
Mr. Camtastic asks, which AFC North rival draft class did you hate the most?
By the way, the North has 5 teams with 10-plus wins a year ago. 5.
Mm-hmm. What was the question? Which did we hate the most?
Yes.
AFC North, like we were mad at? I just feel like Jack Sawyer's going to be really good in Pittsburgh. I just think he's like someone who's going to play 10 years for them and be a pain in the neck.
I thought, didn't Baltimore get like Malachi Starks,
Yep.
and then they took Mike Green?
Yeah, but that was
I don't like that.
I mean, for them, they're the perfect place to land him, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I didn't love Cincinnati's. I mean, I loved Cincinnati's from our perspective. From their perspective, I thought they reached on both of their first 2 picks.
Yeah.
Baltimore drafting right now is just one heater after another. And it's everything you thought. It was like when they drafted Kyle Hamilton. We're like, oh God, not there. Sure enough, drafts there. He's great. Like they're in a good spot right now.
So This is pretty ridiculous.
Oh,
but
you
I
don't
love
say.
it. Jersey Dog 17. The first one is, who would win? Bo versus 100 geese, but he has a machete.
Bo.
Easy.
Nathan versus the gorilla, but each hard-boiled egg he eats, the gorilla loses 10% of his life.
Oh, jeez. I don't know if a gorilla likes. They're vegetarian. I don't know if they would eat a hard-boiled egg.
No, I have to eat 'em.
Oh, you have to
He
eat
has
them.
to eat
Like
the
I have
egg.
to eat 10.
Oh.
If I eat 10 hard-boiled eggs, the gorilla gets vanquished. I'd be dead. I really don't think I could do it, dude. I'm not kidding.
I think your gag reflex would be.
I don't think I could do it.
I made some the other day, and like sometimes I'll put them on salad or whatever, and the boys will like they like a deviled egg or whatever. So I made some of those for them, and I was just thinking of young you. And when I think of young you, I basically think of your head right now and just a mini body, like everything else the same. And I just imagine like people feeding you these as breakfast every morning and thinking that this is a normal thing to do to a child.
What a trauma.
Suck down a hard-boiled egg. What are we doing?
I had
give
to
me
like
some Lucky
and I had to
Charms,
like throw
some
up
Malta
afterwards.
meal.
I had to like throw up afterwards for like over like a couple of weeks. I feel like before there was like
What are we doing?
interventions.
We can't. Can I just have a piece of toast? How about some toast? You do a little Malta meal?
Yeah, fine.
Come on.
I'd even have a
An
Vegemite
Eggo?
sandwich.
Of course you'd have a Vegemite sandwich. Hard-boiled egg for breakfast.
David asks, would you rather attend the Kentucky Derby or the Indy 500?
I've been to the Kentucky Derby. I've not been to the Indy 500. I've been to the Daytona 500.
I've been to neither. I'd much rather go to the Derby.
This is
It's like
my
a spectacle.
Yeah, I think both probably are. This is my advice to anybody if you're going to go to one of those type of things, and any one-off event that it features a big track, get as high up in the stands as you can, because it's really the only way you can see anything.
I also think that notion that the Kentucky Derby happens so quickly, it's exhilarating. Like, there's a lot of laps you got to go through in an Indy 500.
Dude, I'll tell you this: the first 2 laps of the Daytona 500 and the last 10 laps of the Daytona 500 are awesome. Everything in the middle,
snooze. It's a snooze.
let's go.
Yeah.
Come on, boys. It's 500 laps. Let's go. Or 500 miles.
Yeah.
And the Kentucky Derby's great. My advice on the Kentucky Derby is I don't think there's a middle class. So either be like steerage and be in the middle and have the time of your life and not see anything,
Which I think we're too old for.
or you got to go high society, and then then you're up high enough to where you can see the track. I paid $1,000 a ticket. $1,000 a ticket. Take my dad to the Kentucky Derby after he turned 60 when I used to like him, and my mom, my dad, and my wife before NBC was born. And I paid $1,000 a ticket for a box. The box was 2x4 railing, folding chairs underneath the overhang. You could not see anything. By the way, we didn't even have the box to ourselves. There were 2 people I did not know in the box with us. And by box, I mean basically a 2x4 fence. That's what it was. There were no amenities at all. I couldn't see anything. For the actual Kentucky Derby, like my old Kentucky home, all that stuff, we actually walked down to the railing so that we could kind of see it and hear it, because you couldn't see anything. That's what I mean. Like, you got to be way up to be able to see the whole track. It's a long ways around, man.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Daytona 500. I'm guessing Indy's the same way as Daytona. If you are into one of those things, I would also tell you that if somebody ever offers you a pit pass for the Daytona 500, take it, because you basically have the exact same access as team owners, media members. Like, you're just walking in the pits. It's crazy with
That
those
is
pit
crazy.
passes. And they have a lot of people they give them to. It's wild.
Okay, I have one real quick.
Go.
Real quick. Would you rather go to the Belmont Stakes or the Preakness Stakes?
Preakness. Because then you're guaranteed to get the chance for being part of something special. The Belmont is only special if the horse wins the first 2 legs. Now, I'd rather go to, I think, Long Island than Baltimore, but it's kind of a wash. But I think if the Preakness, you're going to get the Derby winner in the Preakness. You might not. The Belmont might not have anybody you even know running in it.
All right, there you go. That's the mailbag on Friday.
You ever been to any of those? I know. None of those one-off sporting events things.
No, I mean WrestleMania. I've been to many of those.
Yeah, a great many of those.
Showcase of the Immortals.
There you go. So much more to come on a Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Well, the sun's out now, buddy. Now it'll be gone in 20 minutes, but right now it's out. Get out there and live, kids. Enjoy your sports weekends. Your weekends in general will be back Monday. It's rookie minicamp week.
Happy birthday, Simsy.
There you go, Simsy. Where's my hoodie? The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns.